Long ago, deep in the heart of Igbo land, surrounded by whispering forests and swelling hills, there lay the village of Umogu. It was a proud village, where the earth was fertile, the yam barns full, and the hunters brave. Among them lived a man called Ikenna, whose fame had spread beyond the neighboring villages. Ikenna was not just a hunter, he was a man possessed by the thirst for more. No matter how many antelopes he felled, no matter how many goat skins he sold in the market, it was never enough. I must become the richest man in all the lands, he often boasted, beating his chest like a war drum. One dusty harmattan evening, after a long day of empty traps and missed shots, Ikenna sat alone beneath the ancient Iroko tree that marked the village boundary. His heart was bitter. His hands were empty. As the sun bled into the horizon, an old woman emerged from the mist, her frame bent, her voice creaking like an old door. "Noam," she said, "your heart is heavy with longing. Leave me, old one." Ikenna snapped, not even sparing her a glance. "Unless you bring me riches, I have no time for your riddles." The old woman chuckled, the sound dry and chilling. "Beyond the river of mist lies what you seek," she whispered. "But be warned, greed has a hunger that even the spirits cannot satisfy." Before he could ask her meaning, she was gone, swallowed by the dusk. Fueled by greed and blind to wisdom, Ikenna rose and plunged into the forest, ignoring the fearful glances of the villagers who watched him go. Everyone knew the river of mist, a place no hunter dared enter, a place whispered to belong to the dead. Through thorn and thicket he pressed, guided by a strange, pulsing light. When he reached the river, a heavy fog hung over the water like a shroud. With a prayer muttered under his breath, he crossed. Beyond the river was a clearing bathed in silver moonlight. In its center stood the most breathtaking woman he had ever seen. Her skin glowed like fresh palm oil, her hair rippled like a black river, and her eyes held the sadness of forgotten stars. "I have waited for you," she said. Her name was Adis, she told him, and if he would marry her, she would grant him riches beyond measure. Without hesitation, Ikenna agreed. His mind danced with visions of gold, herds of cattle, silken wrappers, and great feasts where he would be king. From that day, luck clung to him like a second skin. His traps overflowed. Every arrow found its mark. Gold cowries piled in his heart. Villagers whispered that the gods must favor him. Some said he had sold his soul. Others said he was blessed. Yet, Adis was strange. She spoke little, smiled less, and never touched food or drink. She never stood beneath the sun and shunned the sound of drums. One night, just before the yam festival, Adis came to him, her face pale in the moonlight. "You must build me a house of mirrors," she said, her voice like the clink of cold iron. "And you must never look upon me when the cock crows." Drunk on success, Ikenna agreed. In a few days, a house of glistening mirrors rose at the edge of the village, drawing curious stares. Adis moved in without a word. But suspicion gnawed at Ikenna. Why should a wife hide herself so? Curiosity, fanned by his greed for control, burned within him. On the third night, just before dawn, Ikenna crept to the house of mirrors. He peered through a crack. In the glass, Adis' true form twisted and churned. Her skin peeled away like old cloth. Her eyes were empty sockets. Her hair writhed like black snakes. Frozen with horror, Ikenna watched as Adis, sensing his gaze, snapped her head towards him. "You have broken the covenant," she hissed, her voice no longer sweet but harsh as breaking bones. "You who could never be content, you shall reap what you have sown." The mirrors shattered with a deafening roar, and a great, invisible force slammed into Ikenna, throwing him backward. When the villagers came running at the sound, they found Ikenna lying naked in the dust, eyes wide, lips muttering nonsense. He spoke of endless forests where he chased treasures that turned to sand. He spoke of banquets where the food became worms. He spoke of Adi's laughter, following him even into his dreams. Ikenna had become a shadow of himself, a man cursed with endless yearning, forever empty. The elders shook their heads sadly and said, "Greed is a fire that devours even the hand that feeds it." From that day, the tale of Ikenna and the ghost bride was told around fireside, a warning to all. Be content with your blessings, or chase shadows until you are one yourself. The forest keeps its secrets, but some truths are buried deeper than roots. Did Ikenna fall to madness, or to something older, watching from behind the mirrors? If this tale stirred something in you, like, comment, share, and if you're brave enough, subscribe for the next story waiting in the shadows.